The House of Dr. Graves. Chapter 1. The City Whispers. The city was waking slowly. Shreds of autumn fog drifted through the grey morning, and even the modern glass facades of the campus looked out of place in it, as if they had aged overnight. Alex sat by the window in the reading hall, lazily stirring his cold coffee and staring at his phone screen. No news, nothing, as usual. He caught himself thinking, the more you learn about this city, the less you want to live in it. "You with us, Mr. Observer?" Troy's voice sliced through the musty air of the library. Alex looked up. Troy stood smirking with Sam and Joe behind him. "Sorry, just thinking how not to screw up in front of the fraternity," Alex said, getting up and slinging his backpack over his shoulder. Troy clapped him on the back. "This isn't a test, man. It's initiation. It'll be fun. We chase a local legend and head home with a patch on our jacket." "Yeah, and possibly with a court date," muttered Sam. "Trespassing and all that." "Only if someone reports us," Joe said. He said it quietly, almost emotionlessly. Yet somehow the room grew colder. They walked through campus, swallowed by the shadows of yellow trees. The city was large, but felt forgotten. No new construction. Nothing changed. The faces on the streets, all familiar. "But why him?" Alex asked again, walking beside Troy. "Why his house? Someone actually lives there. This isn't a joke." "Because the old house in the woods burned down," said Troy. "The fires a month ago. Only the walls are left. The fraternity decided we needed a new site, and now—" "So," Sam slowed his pace, "we're the first ones going into an inhabited house." "Technically, yeah," Troy shrugged. "But no one said he's going to be home. It's just one night. We sneak in, shoot some footage, and get out. That's it." "This isn't just a ritual anymore," Joe muttered. "It's a provocation." "Which makes it better," Troy grinned. "Risk equal sign status. Don't you want that patch?" "Great," Sam muttered. "My grandma used to live in that neighborhood. She said that guy used to bury himself." "What?" Alex raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, like he'd go out at night, dig up the ground, stand in it, then bury it again. She used to say Graves is hiding himself, piece by piece." I thought it was just old folks' tales. "Or early performance art," Alex muttered, though his voice shook a little. The house stood on the edge of the old quarter, between a church and a long-closed movie theater. You could see it from afar. Tall iron gates, a black ivy-covered fence, a facade choked in vines and shuttered windows. No sign, no sound. "Who is he, anyway?" Alex asked again. "This Graves, why does no one really talk about him?" "Because everyone already knows," Troy replied, "or thinks they do. People say he used to be a surgeon, then his wife died, or he killed her, or she gave birth to something unnatural. A million theories." Sam shoved his hands into his pockets. "He never comes out during the day. Ever." "How do you know that?" "I followed him once, just for fun." "Didn't know you were our resident stalker." Sam snorted, but didn't argue. He looked tired. His eyes flicked around nervously. He was always like that, but today, especially so. They stopped at a coffee shop. Evening fell on the city slowly, like a warm blanket hiding drafts. "We're really doing this?" Alex asked quietly, while Joe chewed silently on a croissant. "We are," Troy nodded. "Midnight, through the backyard. I already scouted it out. There's a hole in the fence, hidden behind a broken sign. We get in, film quickly, and get out. The key is no noise and no splitting up." "I'll bring the camera," Alex said. "And a recorder, for scientific integrity." Then Sam spoke in a completely different voice. "If anything feels strange, if someone starts acting off, not themselves, just remember who they used to be." They fell silent. "What does that even mean, Sam?" Troy asked. "What are you talking about?" Sam shrugged. "Just if someone starts speaking with a different voice or repeating weird things, don't listen." "You serious?" Troy scoffed. "It's just a spooky story. A house, an old man, a fence, that's it. Just a damn ritual." "Just a damn ritual," Joe repeated flatly, and Sam said nothing more. Later, as they were walking back to the dorm, Alex stopped by the bookstore on the corner. In the display window, among dusty manuals and pre-war dictionaries, lay an old book with no cover. On the spine, faded letters read, "Memory as a Vessel." For some reason he lingered on it a second longer than necessary. Then he caught up with the others. Chapter 2, The Gate. The night in the city was dry and deaf, as if all the noise had gathered downtown and never made it out to the outskirts. Graves's mansion stood as always, silent and still, tall and narrow, with a tiled roof and wild plants growing thick around it, as if separating it from the rest of the world. Alex looked up at the second-floor windows. All of them were dark, but not empty. No lights were on. They followed a side path, careful not to make noise. Behind a warning sign was a break in the fence. Troy had found it during the day and swore it was all clear. "In we go," he commanded without looking back. Joe went first, silent as a shadow. Sam hesitated, like he wanted to say something, but crawled through. Alex followed, bumping his camera against a metal pipe and flinching. Troy came last, glancing back at the street. Empty. The yard smelled of dampness, not swampy, domestic, as if someone had been watering a garden. But there were no plants left, only withered grass and the outlines of long-dead flower beds. "Doors on the other side, past the veranda," Troy whispered. They moved along a narrow stone path. Everything was too neat, leaves raked, wood chips swept clean, as if the house's owner had just stepped outside yesterday with a cup of tea. Alex noticed. The others didn't seem to. The door was massive but old, dark wood, worn brass handle. When Joe pressed it, the lock clicked without resistance, like it was used often. "Not locked," Sam whispered. "He's definitely home." "Quiet," Troy snapped. "If he is, he's asleep. We've got 10 minutes. They stepped inside, and the silence inside was unnervingly perfect. Not oppressive, precise, like in a library where every sound fits into a system. The hall was spacious. The wallpaper, clean, old-fashioned, no stains or dust. Sam's flashlight swept across the floor. The parquet gleamed like it had been polished yesterday. On the walls, portraits, black and white, unframed, strangely faded. No eyes, just silhouettes, outlines. "Someone lives here," Alex whispered. "Well, yeah," Troy muttered. "What, you thought he sleeps in a crypt?" "No, Alex looked around. "It's just, everything's too—" He couldn't find the word. Not new, not well kept, not even alive, just too. They entered a side room, a library, shelves to the ceiling, books, leather-bound, untitled, some left open. On the table, a cup, empty. No stains, but still slightly damp inside. A clock on the wall ticked, though its hands didn't move. Alex switched on his body camera. "Documenting," he whispered. Sam approached a bookshelf and pulled out one volume, easily, without resistance. "It's not dust, it's like... the air's different here." "What?" "Clearer, or warmer." Alex aimed the camera at Sam. "Comment." Sam turned around, slightly confused. "We're the first ones in, we're the first." "We don't know the rules." Alex frowned. "What? What? Say that again. Say what?" "What you just said." Sam froze. "I didn't. I must have thought it." "No, you said it, word for word. Maybe you heard what you wanted." Alex swallowed. "Never mind." He turned the camera toward the window. It was dark behind the curtains, but for a second he thought one of them moved, like someone else in another room was breathing too. "We sweep the first floor fast," Troy said. "Then upstairs, then we're out." "You sure this is a good idea?" Joe asked. "Any other day?" "No," Troy replied, "but we're already here." On the stairs, Alex stopped. There was a painting on the wall, half lit. He couldn't make out the face, just the posture, a person in a long coat facing away with one hand reaching into nothing. He raised the camera, but in the lens, the painting looked different. Not a person, something with too many arms. Or maybe it was just glare, he told himself. Probably glare. "Up," said Troy. "Don't split up." And they went. leaving behind air in which something had already begun to move. Let me know if you'd like narration, subtitle formatting, or an audio version of this. Chapter 3. We Don't Know the Rules. The second-floor corridor stretched unnaturally long. Troy walked ahead, as if marking the route. Behind him, Alex with the camera, Sam with the flashlight, and Joe, heavy and silent, closing the line. The doors on either side were shut, some tightly, others cracked open just enough for a finger to slip through. Alex kept his distance from everyone. "This is too much," he whispered. "Are we even still in the same house?" "Don't freak out," Troy muttered. "It's just a hallway. Maybe it bends." "I counted the windows from outside," Sam mumbled. "There were 4. There are already 9 doors here." Troy turned around. "Listen, we need footage, okay? Just filming an empty hallway won't cut it. The fraternity already booted 3 guys for fakes. We need shots from inside, furniture, layout. The camera has to show we were in the house, not just by the door." "They actually check what's inside?" Alex asked. "Yeah, and they analyze metadata." "Metadata?" Sam echoed, surprised. "Dude, this is a fraternity, not the student council. They check everything." They picked one room, the door barely ajar, very carefully, as if the air itself was hinting, "You can go in, just don't touch anything extra." Alex stepped in first. It was a library, narrow, with a high ceiling. One lamp, dim, desk-mounted, was on. A cup stood on the windowsill, warm, no stains, but a faint wisp of steam. "He's here," Sam whispered. "He's definitely in the house." "Quiet," Troy snapped. 5 shots, then we're out." Alex pointed the camera. Neat shelves, old books, desk clock, a stand with surgical tools like a souvenir. One item, thin as a scalpel, lay separately. "Got it," Alex whispered. "Let's go." Back in the hallway, Sam noticed. Joe's gone. "What?" Alex spun around. "He was right here." The corridor was empty. "Joe?" Troy called out. No answer. The silence was thick. They stepped back, and a few meters down, Joe stood by the wall, just standing, as if he'd always been there. "Where were you?" Sam moved closer. "Not there," Joe replied quietly. "It's okay." He didn't look alarmed, just tired, like after a long journey. "You heard us?" "No, but I knew where you were." Troy waved it off. "One more room, then we're out." The next was a child's room, small bed, toys, drawings on the wall, all in black, faces without features, just outlines. On the floor, a marble plaque, blank, no inscriptions. "This is too personal," Alex whispered. "Even better," Troy said. "Film it, all of it." Alex raised the camera. Sam stood by the window. "We're the first ones in," he said. "We're the first. We don't know the rules." Alex turned his head. "What did you say?" "Huh?" "You said something. Like a quote." "Me? You?" "I didn't say anything. Maybe I thought it." They stared at each other for a few seconds. "That's it," Troy said. "Enough. We're done." As they walked back, Alex glanced over his shoulder and realized the corridor was shorter. 3 doors were gone, but he said nothing. Chapter 4. He remembers them. As they made their way back down the corridor, Alex noticed how everything had shifted, unexplainably, subtly. The nursery they had passed earlier was now shut, and the door across from it, once sealed tight, stood slightly ajar. He didn't register it right away, just made a note of it, like a light flickering in the back of his memory. But 10 steps later, it cut through him with clarity. The house had rearranged them. "Do you feel it?" he asked softly, not turning around. "What?" Sam replied. "Everything's moving." "What do you mean?" Troy slowed down. "The rooms, the doors. We're not where we were. We're not walking in circles. We're walking through someone else's memory." "Maybe you're just tired," Joe said. He was staring at one spot as if remembering something or waiting. They stopped at another room, a study or library. No light, no movement, but something in the air had changed, the smell. Before it was neutral, now faintly sweet like perfume dust, as if someone had just left. 5 shots, then we're done, Troy said flatly. Alex stepped in first, shelves to the left, a desk to the right, on it, an unlit lamp and scattered photographs. He picked one up without thinking and froze. The photo was old, yellowed edges, fingerprint smudges. In it, 4 young men standing in the shadows. One stood closer to the camera, wearing a cap, a camera hanging from his neck. It was him, Alex. Same features, same profile. He couldn't remember ever being photographed from that angle, especially not on film. "What is it?" Sam asked, peering over his shoulder. Alex handed him the photo without a word. Sam stared at it for a long time, then slowly placed it back on the desk. "It's like you were pulled from here, from this place," he said, "as if someone remembered you that way." "It's an old photo," Alex muttered. "It shouldn't exist. It's faded. It's been here longer than I have." "We need to go," Joe said from the doorway, shoulders tense, eyes dark. "We got what we came for. This is extra." "Agreed," nodded Troy. "One more sweep, then we're out." They turned to leave, and noticed that the coat rack by the door was now on the opposite side. It had been on the left, now on the right. No one had touched it. Troy reached out and brushed one of the coats. "Not ours," he said. It was thin, black, the collar high, almost to the chin. On the tag, a name, faded but familiar. D. Graves. "Why would he leave it here?" Sam whispered. "You think he saw us?" Troy asked. "No, I think," Sam swallowed, "he knows who we are." They stepped into the corridor again and felt. Everything had gone quieter, even their breathing, as if the house was holding its breath, listening, as if they weren't guests but symptoms, and the house was trying to diagnose what disease had entered its body. Alex stopped and looked back at the door. "He knows we're here." "How do you know?" Sam asked. "Because he stopped hiding us. Now he wants us to understand." "Understand what?" "That we're not the first." None of them noticed that on the wall, between the portraits in an old wooden frame, a new photograph had appeared. No flash, no film, fresh. In it, 3 figures in the corridor. Alex, Sam, and Troy. Joe wasn't in the picture. "Chapter 5. Joe. "We've got everything," Troy said. "Seriously, that's enough." They stood in the main hall, almost at the spot where they had entered. Alex was checking the camera. The film was full. Sam was scrolling through photos on his phone, but his fingers trembled. Even Troy was tense, though he'd tried not to show it. "That's enough," he repeated. "We're leaving. We've been in 3 rooms, filmed the library, the kids' room, and the study. That's more than enough." "I'm in," Sam nodded. "Joe?" Alex turned. Silence. All 3 turned at the same time. "Joe?" He was gone. No closing door, no footsteps, just gone. "He was right behind us," Sam breathed. "I'm sure." "When did you last see him?" Troy asked. "In the library, at the door," he said. "This is already too much." "That was 10 minutes ago." Alex was already heading toward the stairs. "Joe!" he called. No answer. The corridors looked different. The exit they had seen now seemed to curve away. Not sharply, not impossibly, but enough to disorient. Alex felt the camera grow heavier in his hands, as if the photos taken inside were pulling something into them. "We're getting lost," he said. "No," Troy snapped. "We just took a wrong turn. We can—" He fell silent. A door they had passed twice was ahead again, and behind it, the same child's room. The bed, the toy, the drawings on the wall. "No," Sam whispered. "We're walking into the same place." "It's not us retracing our steps," Alex said. "The house is sending us back." "Joe!" Troy shouted, losing his composure. "Quiet," Sam hissed. "He might be nearby, or—" "Not him." Troy spun around. "What did you say?" "Just don't call out if you're not sure who will answer." And in that moment they heard footsteps, dry, slow, somewhere above, or inside the wall. Troy raised a hand. They froze. The footsteps stopped. "Was that him?" Alex whispered. "It was someone." When they returned to the hall, Joe was already there, just standing, hands in pockets, eyes lowered. "Where were you?" Alex asked. "Here." "No, you weren't. We searched half the floor." I was here. Why didn't you answer? I didn't hear. His voice was the same, but without tone, without depth, flat. Sam stepped closer. You okay? I'm fine, Joe said. We just need to leave. He walked to the door, but it was locked. Click. Troy tugged the handle. Nothing. We didn't lock it, he said. And we couldn't have, added Alex. The lock's on the inside, no key. They froze. Joe stood at the window, staring out at a street that wasn't there. What do you see? Sam asked. He came out, Joe said. Who? The owner. Troy stepped to the window. Emptiness, the yard, the fence, and a shadow gliding along the wall. A back. A man. Tall, thin. Is that him? Alex whispered. I don't want to see him, Sam said. I don't want to know what he looks like. He's not looking at us yet, Joe said, still staring at the glass. But he will. Behind them in the hall, the old clock began to tick, evenly, too evenly, as if the house had synchronized itself. Chapter 6. The Doctor. The silence in the house had changed. Not deaf, not heavy. It was listening, as if the air had learned to wait and the walls politely paused whenever someone passed. We're not getting out, Sam said. The door won't open. The windows are sealed. He spoke calmly, almost at peace. And how do you know that? Troy asked, his voice cracking slightly. I just do. It's a feeling. Fear psychology, Troy muttered. You're mistaking the trap for fate, Sam nodded. Yes, and I think I'm right. Alex sat on the floor at the base of the stairs. He was scrolling through the photos on his camera. His fingers were cramping. He couldn't feel their tips. One photo was out of place, a shot of the hall, with none of them in it.
Taken at the same time as the others, but in the frame at an empty corridor, only a shadow, thin, elongated, almost human, but not his, not Sam's, not Joe's, not Troy's. Someone else had held the camera. He turned off the screen. We're not alone, he said. You just figured that out, Joe replied. His voice was again steady, not flat, smoothed out, like a remastered clip from an old recording. Sam walked down the corridor, slowly. The walls beside him, once lined with paintings, now held mirrors, and in one of them he saw a face, not his own. At first he thought it was Troy's reflection behind him, but in the mirror there was no Troy, no hall, no light, only a study, drenched in yellow candlelight, and in it a man, tall, grey hair slicked back, a black suit, a chiseled face, like carved plaster. The man was writing something. A quill scratched the paper. The sound echoed inside Sam's skull. He froze. The man looked up and smiled. You're watching me, Sam whispered, and the mirror became normal, his own reflection. Dust, the camera on his chest. But something had stayed behind. I saw him, Sam said. He came down the stairs, his voice rasped. Where? Alex asked. In the mirror. He was writing. He knew I was watching. What the hell? Troy growled. It's just a house, just a lunatic. We're spooking ourselves. No, Joe said. He's reorienting us. What? Space, memory. He's not scaring us. He's tuning us. Alex stopped in front of a side door he hadn't noticed before. The door was dark, almost black. On it, a copper plaque. Experiment. Don't touch it, Sam said. I'm not going to, Alex breathed. He's in there, Sam added. I know it. You can't know that, Troy objected. He's already spoken to me. Everyone went silent. On the floor by the wall lay an old reel-to-reel tape recorder, dusty, but the indicator light was glowing. Is that him? Alex whispered. We're about to find out, Troy said and pressed play. Click, pause, tape hiss. Then a voice, calm, quiet, unbearably polite. If you're hearing this, it means you didn't enter as a guest, but as a symptom. And now you're part of the process. You won't learn what was here before you, but you will learn what comes after. I am only a mirror. Everything you fear is already inside you. You will become a shadow or be replaced. Everything is preserved here, even you. Click. Pause. The tape stopped. Alex looked at the others. That was him? Yes, Joe said. How do you know? Because I heard it before we entered the house. The silence tightened again.
The clock no longer ticked, nothing moved, even the air, as if it were holding its breath. He had seen them, and now he was watching. Chapter 7. Reflections. They sat in the hall. No one spoke. The reel had stopped. Their flashlights were dying. The light was dimmer now. Everything around them wasn't darkening, it was fading, like old paper where only the pressure of the ink remains. "How long have we been here?" Alex asked. "Less than an hour," Troy replied. "That's not possible." "You can check." "My phone froze," Sam said. He held it in his hand, but the screen was blank. Not black, not white, transparent, as if nothing had ever been there. "We need to stick together," Troy said. "It's already too late," Joe replied. "We've been separated. We just haven't realized it yet." He stood up. "Where are you going?" Sam asked, jumping to his feet. "Behind the mirror. I need to see something." "Not again," Troy muttered. "I want to see how he writes," Sam whispered. "Maybe he'll write me." And he walked away. 3 remained. "He's being guided," Alex said, "or the path is being shaped to fit him." "What about us?" Troy asked. Alex looked at the camera. "As long as there's a recording, we exist. I think he's watching it through us, like we do through a lens." "Do you hear yourself right now?" "Yes, and it doesn't help." They headed for the stairs. The paintings were gone, now only mirrors, and in them an empty hall, no reflections, no flashlight beams, only someone else's silence. Upstairs, emptiness. The doors were still the same, but they changed when you blinked. Troy opened one. Inside was the same library as before, a copy, the same books, the same objects, but everything slightly out of place, as if someone was reconstructing the room from memory. "We've been here already," Alex said. "No, this one's different. I recognize the lamp's shadow, but the books are reversed. Then someone's trying to replicate our experience." They stepped out. Alex walked ahead. Troy, a little behind. After a few turns, Alex looked back. "Troy?" Empty, no footsteps, no breath. He turned back, went in reverse. One corner, another. "Troy?" Nothing. He returned to the hall and saw himself standing at the foot of the stairs, hands in pockets, face calm. Alex stepped forward. The shadow vanished, simply dissolved like steam on a mirror. He gripped the railing. His breath came short. "That's you, isn't it?" he whispered. "You're trying to understand me." A voice. That voice. Calm, precise, like a surgeon, seconds before the incision. "You want me to explain the house to you?" The voice now echoed inside his head. "It's not meant to be understood. It's meant to be adapted to. You're not a guest, you're a copy. And you're still being written." Alex raised the camera. It was working. On screen, himself, but different. Darker eyes, shorter hair, different clothes. He moved like he knew he was being filmed, like he was the cameraman. The voice spoke again. "When you're afraid of getting lost, you already are. When you're afraid of disappearing, you already have. Everything else is formatting." The flashlight flickered. Alex heard footsteps again. Someone approaching. He turned and saw Troy. He stood there, breathing hard, eyes wide. "Where were you?" Alex asked. "I was following you." "No, I was alone." "Then who was with me?" Meanwhile, downstairs, Sam was staring into a mirror, a smooth surface, and beyond it, a room, a desk, and a man. He was writing again, but now not with a quill, with his finger, right on the glass. A word appeared on the mirror. "You." Sam closed his eyes, but the word didn't vanish. Now it was inside his eyelids. Chapter 8. The house has chosen. When Alex opened his eyes, he was sitting at the base of the stairs. The air was dry, steady. It no longer vibrated or moved, as if the house itself had finally stopped breathing. He felt an emptiness beside him, not anxiety, but true absence, as if a person hadn't left a room, but their entire fact of existence had been erased. "Where's Sam?" he asked the air. Silence. He looked at Troy standing by the window. "Sam, he was with us, right?" Troy slowly turned. "Who?" Alex blinked. The word sat on his tongue, familiar but unanchored, like a dream where you once knew something but can no longer say it. "Doesn't matter," he muttered. There's 3 of us. There always were, Troy said softly. You, me, and Joe. Alex froze. Joe, where was he? He jumped up, turned. The hall was empty. Joe, he shouted. No response. He ran down one corridor, then another. Back to the hall. Empty, empty, empty. Returning to Troy, he stared into his eyes. Joe? Troy blinked. Joe? Was? Like he was asking himself. And in that moment, everything disappeared. The memory, the image, the name. Only the sense of a foreign step beside him remained. A step, soft, on carpet, as if someone was observing not from space, but from sequence. Alex turned. At the edge of a shadow in the side hallway, Joe. He stood calmly, but flickered. With every glance, slightly altered, taller head, darker clothes, a different posture, as if someone was choosing which version to keep. Joe? He looked at Alex, nodded and vanished, not walked away, not dissolved, erased, and there was nothing left, no name, no trace, as if he had never existed. Alex returned to the hall. Now, everything was balanced, as if the house had finished its process. No distortions, no pain. On the wall, a new painting, 3 young men in a corridor. 2 looked toward the entrance, one directly into the camera. In his hands, a camera. Alex. He stepped closer. On the back, a label. Original, complete. He planned it all, Alex whispered. Of course, Troy answered, but his voice had changed. Even, without pauses, without inflection. Alex turned. Troy stared at a mirror. In the reflection, no one. You knew? I knew, because I'm part of the structure. What? I was here before. I've brought you here before, and I brought you again. Every new entry is my replica. He sat on the stairs. This is my house, Alex, and you've reached your page, your final one. From the ceiling, like droplets from the deep, came footsteps. Slow, deliberate, graves. He didn't appear, he was already there. Alex felt his gaze, not at him, but through him. Voice, the chosen one is not the worthy, but the one that fits the shape. You were a reader. Now, you are a page. Close your eyes, Alex, or write the ending yourself. He turned on the camera. On the screen, himself. Alone. The hall, empty. No paintings on the wall. Only him. And a caption emerging in the corner of the screen. Ending accepted. Archiving initiated. Alex lowered the camera. He was no longer filming. He was being recorded. Chapter 9. Exit morning in the city was clear. Cold like storefront glass. Dust on the sidewalks had dried after the night's damp. No birds, streetlights off. Air scentless. People went about their day. At the post office there was an argument over a lost package. A bus was stuck at the bakery corner. Someone sat on a bench near campus, reading a newspaper, just another day. At the northern edge, across from the old mansion, lay a camera, broken, screen cracked, record button stuck. A man passed by, tall, grey hair neatly slicked back, a knee-length coat, a cane, light as if for rhythm, not support. He stopped, looked at the mansion gates, at the camera, bent down, picked it up, turned it in his hands, opened the screen. It was dark, but for a second, a frame flickered. The hall, a shadow on the stairs, a boy with a camera, eyes into the lens. Dr. Graves smiled slightly, removed his glove, switched off the power. The camera stopped breathing. He turned toward the road and walked, slowly, steadily, like a man who still had plenty of work ahead today. On the campus bulletin board hung a new notice. Fraternity initiation postponed. Old ritual site temporarily unavailable. New address TBA. Questions. Contact Troy Miller. No one knew who that was. The name wasn't in the student records, nor the archives. No one remembered his face, but the name felt familiar. And in the evening, when everything quieted again, in one window of the old house a warm light would flicker, and the doctor would open his inkwell again, pull a blank page toward himself, and begin a new chapter. First comes fear, then order, then form. He would look up. and beyond the glass, on the empty street, a silhouette would flicker for a moment. Someone standing, watching. He would nod and continue writing.